I read The Elementary Particles by Michel Houellebecq, published in 1998. Part 1 is about the childhoods of half-brothers Michel and Bruno. Janine Sicoli was a beautiful young woman who was seduced by a plastic surgeon named Serge Clement. They produced a son named Bruno, who they sent to live with his grandparents in Algeria. Then Janine was seduced by a filmmaker named Mark Drzhinsky. They bore a son, Michel. Mark brought his son Michel to live with his mother, but then he disappeared making a documentary in China. Michel receives his first chemistry set, and he befriends a girl named Annabelle. Meanwhile, Bruno's grandparents die, and he is sent to a boarding school where he is bullied. Michel becomes a molecular biologist. In Part 2, Bruno visits a commune, known as the Lieu des Changements, and develops a relationship with a woman named Christine. Because they are in their 40s, they believe it's their last chance for a relationship. Unfortunately, Christine becomes crippled and dies in a fall. Michael returns home and meets Annabelle again. She has uterine cancer and ends her life by a drug overdose. In the end, it is revealed that Michel's research in molecular biology helped to create an immortal species of human who reproduce asexually. Michel and Bruno suffer from very different sexual pathologies. But Michel is an intellectual who never married, and he does not take any pleasure in sex. Bruno is divorced and has a 14-year-old son named Victor. He's ashamed of his small penis and struggles to maintain an erection and ejaculates prematurely. He spends a lot of the book masturbating. This book contains more sex than any other book I've ever read. And it's not really done in an embarrassing way. It's more in like the depressing middle-aged sex type of way. This book also contains a lot of death. I counted 7 people dead, and a few more people die off screen. Bruno makes a couple intellectual errors. First, he seems to have a very anti-male bias. Bruno claims women are indisputably better than men. They were gentler, more affectionate, loving, and compassionate. They were less prone to violence, selfishness, cruelty, and self-centeredness. Moreover, they were more rational, intelligent, and hardworking. I don't know how many women you know, but that's clearly delusional. The book does feel very French. There's a whole lot of French names. The book contains some beautiful prose. I don't know how much of that is due to the French translation by Frank Wynne, or how much of it is really due to the beauty of the French language. The book is unflinchingly honest in its discussions about aging and death, as well as sexuality, both of the heterosexual and homosexual variety. He writes about homosexuality even in ways that other homosexuals would not. On page 88, he writes, "Watch 2 old queens together," Bruno liked to say. "Watch them closely. They may be fond of each other, they may even be affectionate. But do they really want each other? No. As soon as some tight 15 to 25-year-old ass walks past, they will tear each other apart like panthers. Each will rip other to pieces just for that tight little ass." So Bruno thought. That isn't actually true, but it's the type of unflinching writing that you can expect from this book. I think the beautiful prose and the unflinching honesty show that this is the best that literary fiction could possibly be. But I do find the plot too despairing to enjoy. I wish it were possible to separate the former from the latter, but that's easier said than done. I think the characters are good, and the 2 brothers are strengthened by being opposites. So I give the characters 9 out of 10. The prose is also pretty beautiful. I give it a 9 out of 10. The plot is a little messy due to flashbacks, and the tone is a little dreary too. So I'll give the plot a 6 out of 10. Overall, I give the book a 5 out of 10.